Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome to episode 29 of Burning Crowns. I'm Eric, your game master and host of today's show. Once again, we're playing the Burning Wheel role-playing game by Luke Crane, a game about more like literary fantasy. And, well, in our game in particular, it's about kingdom building, and we finally are at kingdom building. That's something that we're doing, finally. Like,
30
spoilers, 30 sessions into the show that I pitched to everyone as a kingdom building game. We have finally gotten to kingdom building, so super looking forward to this. So how is my cast doing? How are you doing, chat? Thanks for tuning in live. I always appreciate that. So AP, what's up?
So last night, I was testing a new system of stars without numbers. Eric showed up in the chat early to ask me if I was using stars without number revised, but I forgot he was there. And then later on in the episode, I was like, all right, boys, we're going to EricVulgaris this. We're going to make those beliefs matter. And Eric was like, popped up in the chat. I was like, oh shit, I forgot he actually is here.
Solid.
Yeah.
That's life right there. I could tell you who I am on the offhand chance that improbably you are somehow here for the first time.
It's happened so many times
I'm
before.
waiting. I'm waiting to see if it happens.
But every time we get new viewers, AP, tell people who you are.
I don't need to. I'm going to pass it on. Go ahead, Eric.
Oh my God.
I'm willing to wager that every one of you guys in chat was here the first time at some point.
But is it this time? But it is not this day.
Good one. All right. Mason / Daniel / Niren. How are you?
Just slashing, apparently. No, I'm fine, thank you very much. Just arrived fresh from another game of Burning Wheel. So, turns out Land Strike, superb hit Land Strike to the chest is bad for your health. That happened to a player character. We will be rejoining the game 3.5 years later once he's out of his coma.
Yeah, taking a lance to the chest doesn't seem very good.
Yeah, no. That will to live persona point, though. Always have a persona point in the bank, kids, or you will die.
Live dangerously, my friends.
I love the advice. There was a question about this recently on the Reddit, and I loved the advice from Luke where it's like, yeah, this is just a game saying slow down. Sometimes when this happens to one of our long-term characters, we just play a little mini arc while they're in a coma.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's basically all the player characters in that game have gone down. Like, one straight up died. Like, died. He's not coming back. Another got shot in the heart last session by a hunting bow and fell over dead, but spent the persona. And then the third guy got run down by a knight this time. So, yeah. Harsh lessons.
Who shot the guy in the heart?
Just an archer. Like,
just an archer?
Like they were attacking a village and just running at it in night and with
the range
insane
cover.
Obstacles. Yeah, the range and cover. And like the obstacle to shoot someone is super fucking high, right? Because like they were in darkness, they were not at optimal range and so on. But it's just like this one archer guy being like, okay, let me just roll here. And like everything comes up perfect. And it's like, okay, well, you're the target, sorry. And it just shoots him. He rolls all ones on his armor check, takes an arrow directly in the heart, keels over dead.
Oh my God.
Well, that happened.
Turns out arrows are bad for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's just when you know your character had a, like that's life. That's the death. That's death coming for you at that point.
That's some Sam rolling right there.
Yeah, seriously.
I do say so myself.
Speaking of Sam rolling, Sam, how are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. I was just telling these guys, I am like so stoked to play. I haven't gotten to play any games since the last time I was on this show, and I had to miss last week because I was moving across the country. But now I'm here in a new location, and I'm super excited to play. Also, shout out to both Daniel and to Q10 if he's in chat for helping me out with tech difficulties on when I was streaming on Friday, because I would not have ever noticed that I just wasn't using my mic. I was just using the webcam.
Oh, yeah, you didn't set it to the settings, and yeah, OBS is tricky getting it set up. So, yeah, good stuff.
Thank you for those people. One
Excellent.
of whom I'm looking at right now.
Cool. Yeah. And I wrapped up my Pendragon game. It was supposed to go on longer, but things got in the way, and we might pick it up in months later after things go on. You'll hear about why from Steven, I think tomorrow. So just hang in there. But I think we're all gonna say that we're very happy for him for what's coming down the line. Okay, so anyways, let's get ready.
I'm just saying, Eric. I'm just saying.
Ready to rumble.
I predicted that Steven very specifically is getting hired
All right.
by Wizards of the Coast.
Yep, that's you got it. That's exactly what's going on. It's not what's going on. All right, so we're playing Burning Wheel, which is a game about characters and their beliefs. And so we're going to go over real quick what our characters' beliefs are for the day, and then get started with some scenes. So you can see on screen here there are 3 characters, just to remind us. And I also wrote a couple notes about what's been going on since our last couple sessions, some big things that have happened since then. And all right, so let's just go around and let's go from order from left to right. So AP, go ahead and read your beliefs. Everyone at home who wants to play along, if you hit exclamation point, I'll do it myself. Exclamation beliefs in chat. There's a document that you can view that has all the beliefs written down as well. So if you ever are wondering what's at stake, what our characters believe in any moment, do that stuff. Suggest failures, all those types of things that I like to do when I watch Burning Wheel. Tell the GM how such a bad job he's doing, that kind of stuff. So anyways, AP.
Eric, I wanted to mention it 2 weeks ago, but I didn't. And now I can see it's still happening. The bottom layer of text about Swan the Marquis, where it says Krushenko is working for the King's Council, you can't see it on the audience side of the screen. It's too far left.
Not anymore.
Excellent. I would like to tell you about my beliefs then, friends. I have some, and they are things that I believe. Expansion and acquisition is the heart of civilization. Once the building of the capital, Karasuno, has begun, I will invite important business, political, and noble leaders on pleasure retreats. Apparently, the privateer Captain Margot doesn't like me. I must rectify the situation with her as my gateway to the rest of the Mivanese. Beginning a sweep of the lands and the Gnarlmarsh is the immediate concern of my army. I must direct them to begin their actions after securing the proper equipment for an extended campaign. Surviving is not living, and creating a city is not a country. Something must unify my people, a rallying cry to march towards, and a culture of excellence to maintain after my death. Magic is more than just a single sorcerer, and knowledge is more than a single advisor. I will see whom the bard Millions has brought me, and convince this person to gather and shape the young gifted as I choose. That's right, Mason. Fucking come at me.
Perfect. I like that one. And then, of course, you're responsible to the people, right?
I am responsible for the people. I mean, that hasn't changed and probably never will.
No, that's your noblesse oblige.
I mean, that's my
fate. Real quick. Is it noblesse oblige or oblige?
It's oblige.
Oblige. Okay, thank you. And is it French?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's the root word of obligation.
Technically, it's oblige, I believe.
Like an egg? It's a joke. Anyways, okay. All right, cool. Let's keep going. Sulius, our prophet.
Hello. I play the prophet Sulius Aurelius, and I too believe things. Those things are: first is my faith idiom, which is that only the strong wall shelters humanity from the storm. This colony represents a chance for Swan to unite humanity. Thus, it must succeed. The craftsmen and priests flocking to our banner must be organized and funded if this endeavor is to get off the ground. Belief 2, Abadar does not march to war without first rousing his brother Gorum. Neither should his church. The House of Abadar and the House of Gorum must unite if we are to survive what is to come. Belief 3 is going to harken back way back to the beginning, to, I believe, episode 2. And that's going to be, I've not forgotten the name I heard whispered in the Stolen Lands. As the first and most obvious enemy of civilization in the Stolen Lands, Narissa shall be my focus. I will learn all I can about her nature. And then my zealot belief is, at the dawn of time, Abadar laid forth the codex of holy laws and traditions that would govern the heavenly kingdoms for all eternity. We must follow the great reformers who glimpsed the edges of the lawmakers' holy order to perfect our wanting civilization. Though my attention is drawn a million ways, I must make use of the teacher I have found. Doctrine cannot wait.
Oh,
Sweet.
wow! That one's a little bit of a pull from regular old Prophet Aurelius. Huh? I don't remember reading that one till now. Huh? Okay.
And
okay.
Also, one of my instincts, I think, changed since the last time I was able to play.
Yeah.
I still always have my doctoring supplies on me, and I still always assume signs of the apocalypse. But now I also always assume a divine mandate. And what I mean by that is, if I believe it, that means Abadar must believe it, and that must be so.
Must be the will, yes, of Abadar. Yes. Your will and Abadar's will are one in the same.
You are giving yourself moral carte blanche to do and think whatever you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Executive privilege. Only divine executive privilege, I guess. Yeah. Cool. I dig it. So, obviously, Sam couldn't join us last week because he was moving. So I feel like we have a little bit of catching up for him to catch up to get to speed for the rest of us. So I think the first couple of scenes will be devoted to him. And getting up to and finishing up a couple projects he had left in the capital, so we can move down to the Karasuna, the new capital, right? So
did we skip Mason?
Yeah, I totally did skip Mason, didn't I? I got so excited, dude. I just drank 3 cups of coffee. Get out of here. Yeah.
I was just assuming you were talking about stuff about the character.
My bad. See, this
you should have played it off, Eric. You should have played it off, being like, no, I'm not. I'm just.
Oh, I don't know who that other person is. He just joined the call and it just is there. No, this is actually a big reason why I'm afraid of having more than like 5 people on a show is that I just cannot balance that many people in my head right now. I just can't.
I used to run shows with 7 people, buddy. That shit is a nightmare.
Practice makes perfect, I have heard.
You would sit there, I don't know, was it D&D?
Pathfinder.
So you would literally sit there without talking then for like hours at a time.
No,
and then you would have a couple of
things went
sayings.
pretty quick.
Wow, I want to see that. I have trouble believing that.
I have it on video.
I will watch that later at youtube.com/apgamingreel. So cool. All right. Anyways, Mason, before I forget you one more time.
Well, hello everyone. I am playing the character Mason, and Mason's new beliefs, I guess 1 new belief and 2 beliefs from last time, are as follows. For a worthy ruler to sit on the dragon scale throne, I must discover the secret of the vanishing. I will uncover the identity of the conspirator whose involvement has been torn from the pages of Coral's Confidant's Chronicles. My second belief, there is yet enough fire in the hearts of men to steer a course over dark seas. Answers await in the Valley of Fire. I will uncover them. And third and final, as the last member of the Nethesian I stand responsible where they no longer can. I will understand the powers wrought on Candlemere and bring them under my control. My instincts are never give out knowledge without purpose, always treat knowledge and relics with utmost care, and if there is understanding to be gained, do research.
It's a good one.
Thank you kindly.
Cool.
Okay. Cool. All right then. Let's go ahead and keep going. So what I said before is still true. What were the last couple of things you want to do in the capital? So we're technically in the past by a couple months right now, as we see Sulius taking care of some business and working overtime.
Yeah. So the only thing that I had to do in the capital, the other thing is happening over like the months of travel, is go talk to the Goramites.
You want to talk to, the Goramites, and the other thing was the writing, right? But
that's going to take a month and a half.
That takes the months of, okay. All right. I'm gonna have to talk to you about that, because I'm not sure you can practice writing while writing.
Well, it's composition, not
I don't know if you can.
So my argument here is that it
assumes 6 hours of practice, and you're traveling for like 14 hours a day and then sleeping.
No, it's instruction, right? So I'm being my theory is that while we're in the carriage or the boat or whatever, me and Gavril are locked in a room talking about 3-act structure and thesis statements and
a boat. Okay, I could see a boat where that works? That's never mind. That's good. Let's play on. Okay, so back in the capital.
Cool.
Talking to the Goramites. What was your
Yes.
intention? You wanted to make an ally with them or something?
Correct. So in the last session, I circled up Ivar Dane, who is the Goramite Bishop of the Bow, who, when I was a small child, taught me how to shoot a bow. My goal was to I can't remember if I actually ended up having a scene talking to him, but the goal is I need to have an audience with the Council of Goramite Bishops so that I can try to forge an alliance.
What kind of an economic alliance, political alliance? What kind of thing are you talking about here? Alliance?
What
does that mean?
A military alliance. I need them to join me in the fight against the end of the world, is what I need.
Oh. Huh.
You want them to buy into your vision for the apocalypse.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, so the root of
that's going to be very difficult. Let's play it out.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, I think the question isn't whether or not you get the audience with the Goramites. That's gonna. I feel like that's assumed, or maybe that might be part of the failure here. But really, it's going to be explaining your point of view.
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
them, right? And trying to convince them. And so let's say you're going to talk to. So, you're probably going to talk to Onin Solson's dad.
Awesome.
About this, which is pretty interesting. And let's see. You want to convince him to commit troops towards a unknown goal, like at some point in time.
Yeah. So I mean, I think maybe I should sort of play out exactly how I'm doing this. So like,
yeah. So we're in the Gorm. We're in the Gorm halls, which are Spartan, literally and figuratively. There's not a lot of comfort. In fact, it's probably like. They literally just have like a campfire and like some rocks around it. I imagine they are very, very, very rugged, or like just like a pine bench. You know what I mean? Like they are very, very, very austere. Yes.
Yeah.
Spartan, like literally Spartan. Not a lot of decorum. The big thing, yeah. So I think the guy is like pacing around, wondering like. So explain this to me one more time. What are you committing Goramite troops to do?
So maybe I'll wait to roll to actually express my intent, because I have a kind of a big thing. But the core of this belief is that brother Gorham is the warrior, and Abadar knows that tools must be in the best place. So when Abadar forges the greatest sword, he doesn't wield it himself in battle. He gives it to brother Gorham, who can truly wield the sword, right?
Gorm is Abadar's weapon. Yes.
Right. So I think when Aurelius shows up, he doesn't wear the new fancy clothes that Swan bought him a couple sessions ago. He comes in his austere prophet attire. So just simple white linens. The only piece of jewelry or anything of that sort is the one that he physically can't take off. Which is a silver noose that has been turned into metal.
Is it golden?
With a key. It's a silver noose, golden key.
Thank you.
So he walks in. We see the swinging of his chain, and when he sees Lord Solstand or Bishop Solstand rather, he will sort of nod and obey the etiquette and greet him. And he will say,
"It's Archbishop, by the way." But
yeah. He's like, "Archbishop, I appreciate you being willing to see me on such short notice."
Oh boy, I think he's gonna be very, very impatient. I feel like he's been like pacing for a while. It's like, you already were 15 seconds late. Out with it, man. I have plans to go over. This is a favor from my son. Proceed.
The House of Abadar and the House of Gorham have had a divide over the past centuries. I seek to remedy this.
He was like trying so hard to not roll his eyes. Okay. He's like looking, are you trying to commit troops to me? Like,
Yeah.
we would be happy to take some Abadarian policemen, give them some good training about war and conflict and send them out.
So
Your friends are far too lackadaisical with the laws and order. A fine regiment of Gorm teaching could do the body very well as the soul. You know, he's like talking. But that's not why you've come here, he says.
Surely Gormite training is of great value, but I come with darker tidings. I'm sure you have heard of what comes. I'm sure you've heard whispers in the streets of my proselytizing. A war looms on the horizon, Archbishop. And in war, each god knows their place. Abadar, he is a smith, a quartermaster. He arms and equips the divine. He readies the walls. And though when the time comes, Abadar will take up the sword, bear a shield and bow and spear, none know better than the vault maker that each tool has its place, Archbishop. When the first blacksmith crafted the great sword Anduril, when he forged the links of the cuirass of Leonidas, he armed not himself, but his brother Gorham, for they were to embark on the heavenly crusade. Now, in this time of rising darkness, we mortals must embark on our own crusade. We must unite, as our holy lords once did in time immemorial. Archbishop, only the strong wall shelters humanity from the storm, but only the strong arm can hold the wall. We need both of our gods in this.
Do you know what happened to your saints? The ones that Abadar has bestowed so many gifts to? They died.
All men die.
Wrong, he says in a very strong voice. Those who believe with Gorham shall never die. Those are welcomed to walk up the steps to, I don't know what the name of it is, but the Valhalla of Gorham, right?
Archbishop,
alive and well, so they live forever.
Archbishop, a storm is coming. Our gods once knew that unity was the only way to clear the heavens from the corrupt and the disloyal. We must follow our gods' wishes in this, for when the storm rises, for surely it will, when the darkness comes, for it is inevitable. A man alone will die, but our civilization, it may survive.
Only a fool takes up arms against nature. We fight men against men.
Archbishop, I'm shocked.
Your god is the one who builds the walls and builds the shelter. That seems like your fight.
And yours is the one who defends it.
Defend. Gormite's only attack.
Aurelius is gonna, smile a little bit.
We worship the god of conflict. Why would we have any interest in stopping conflict?
I don't seek to stop anything. I seek to last. I seek to survive. The conflict surely comes, the greatest conflict man will ever know. Will you have it be said that when this great conflict came, the house of Gorham hid behind its walls? Or will you sally forth? Will you join the defense and fight?
When this conflict, whatever it is, whatever form it takes, comes, come to me when you're ready to ride out and meet it, not behind these walls. Is that all, Prophet?
I think Aurelius looks at him and says,
you can try to convince him if you want to push for a roll at any point here.
I mean, yeah,
he's
I
very.
think it's probably time for some dice.
Yeah, this is like a desperate kind of position. He's going to have a pretty significant advantage here because you're going against his core tenets of his belief here, man.
How so? I'm not clear on that. I mean, based on what like we've established with Onin, like it doesn't seem like they would be fundamentally against armed defense.
You're talking about like the defeat of existential conflict, and that's not what he's about. He is about existential conflict. Gorm exists for battle and for conflict.
So I'm
you're talking
bring
about
them
take up arms against all future conflicts, against the
no.
greatest conflict there is, and he's like, no.
I'm talking about joining the conflict. I'm not talking about stopping it. I'm trying to encourage him to fight with us.
Very well. Then what he says is
I
true.
don't want Gorham to hide away. That was the point I'm making, right?
Sure. Well, then that's fine. Then I think what I said it was pretty clear that he will only help you if you choose to not go behind those walls and go out to meet it. Because that would be if Gorham joins the battle, he's not going to sit behind the walls.
He's not going to be reactionary about it.
Yeah. He's not going to wait for the storm to happen. He's going to go chase the storm down. And so that's where the disagreement comes, but also that's would be a role. You could get him to side on to like tentatively agree, but that would be a point of contention.
There's a smash cut to Mason sneezing and then it cuts back.
I mean, yeah, you tell me how you want to do this. Do you want me to roll or just make it a roll, or do you want to go into a duel of wits? I mean,
I don't think we need to do a duel of... You have a belief on the line, do you not?
Yeah.
About this? No, we got to duel of wits it then.
The question is basically...
my dude. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize this. That I kind of forgot that you had a duel of wits, so we got to do a belief on the line, so we should do it. All right. You take the left and I take the right. What's the point of our conflict here is you are trying to persuade Gorm to basically
join the fight.
If you win, what does this look like? If you win,
if I win, Gorham agrees to ally with Abadar in the war. There's a war coming, and I want him to fight with me. I mean, that's going to be my statement of purpose. The war comes. I think. How do I do this again? Text.
What are we calling your new kingdom? Obviously, it's Karasune is the capital, but what's another word for it? Like, what do you want to call this area? Because it's part of my body of argument. If I win, the Church of Gorm is to remain neutral in all affairs, including the Church of Abadar, as well as Brevoy, as well as whatever you want to call yourselves.
They don't want it to seem like we have an alliance, so they feel obliged to not come down and kick us around for fun.
So my statement of purpose is going to be a war comes, Gorham must fight.
Okay.
All right, what are your terms?
So if I win without compromise, he has to basically the terms here are he has to agree to give me whatever I need for this war. He agrees to become part of the alliance, right?
Right. So yeah, but I would encourage you. I'm not your GM. I would encourage you to get specific. He will give me whatever I want. Is not a good.
Yeah, you need to give me commit troops, commit money, resources.
Commit troops.
What is?
This is total war. He will join in total war. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. When Aurelius watches 10,000 people die in an instant, and he needs another 10,000 troops trained, Gorham is there. When he needs swords, Gorham is there. When he needs bodies, Gorham is there. They basically, he's trying to unite these two churches in what is to come.
Is this really then a duel of wits and not just you trying to persuade against his will? Because he really doesn't want anything out of you.
Definitely suasion.
Right? Like he doesn't want anything. He's not trying to convince you of anything. He's just trying to. You're trying to convince him that it's in his best interest to help in this conflict.
Well, he's trying to convince me to leave it well enough alone.
Well, I think that's maybe just the consequence of failure, and that's not really anything I'm asking for you. So actually, I think this is just a. You're right. So after talking about that, it's really just a suasion roll.
Cool.
And let me come up with the obstacle for this. It's not because it's not just his will. It's not just his will, but I want to look at I want to see with what suasion specifically says in the skill section for it.
If you want an idea of like if he is that like basically opposed to this idea, how much should I add to the obstacle? If you circle someone up and get the enmity clause, you add 2 to their to the obstacle of convincing them.
I was going to say it's going to be a 2 obstacle, but I wanted to see if the book had anything particular about
It's just
assuasion ops, and I actually never looked at the thing persuasion. Yeah, so it's is will plus +2. So we're looking at I think it'd be a pretty firm 7.
Awesome. This is going to be difficult. Test.
Consequences of failure is kind of what I said, is that you need to do something else to you don't get your way, and that way it's shut off from you. Sure, of course. I love hearing suggestions for failure.
I would like to suggest that Aurelius needs to prove his own martial skill. That the path of the words are wind to Gorham. So if you want to fight with us, show us that you can fight.
Fucking hell, that's so
that's
cool.
badass shit.
Aurelius in a sandpit fighting someone. Well,
yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Oh, that's even better. It's like
that's so bad for me.
Why would Gorham?
I think it's cool.
Yeah. Why would Gorham throw his lot behind someone so weak like you? Kind of thing. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So I'm rolling persuasion because this is definitely me trying to convince him that I'm saving his mortal soul.
You wear soft metals. We wear hard metals here. And,
yeah. I mean, I come here with a chain around my neck. Whether
if we had it our way, we would have whitesmithing outlawed.
Sure.
Useless.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so I would like to fork here. Abadar wise. Civilization wise.
Is Abadar wise helping you persuade the Goramite to get his way?
I mean, it definitely was involved in the argument. The argument that I would make here is the Abadar wise was the whole speech about religious history. Well, maybe it's religious.
Well, then it's religious history, not Abadar wise.
We'll do religious history.
That's what I'm getting to, right? Like, so I'm feeling like I'm turning the dial a little bit more, and I'm gonna be more picky about the forks we enter.
Sure.
Going forward now, but so that's religious history.
I would like to fork ugly truth, because the ugly truth is join or die.
Yeah, that's fair, but he doesn't. That's not really a big deal to him, but that's fine. Yeah.
I mean, I'm still.
It's still objectively true. Like, I'm giving it to you. Yeah.
And then, I think that might be persuasion.
Yeah, of course.
Guaranteed for persuasion. Cool.
Yeah,
and
you don't have to justify that.
I'm going to spend 3 persona on this.
Might I suggest that you argue for fictional positional advantage for having a reputation as a prophet and miracle worker? It could give you a die.
I don't know that he cares about.
I would say
maybe
the advantage die for having recently had a castle built on their behalf.
Yeah, I think that one makes more sense. I don't think he would care so much about my reputation as a prophet.
Yeah, you want to bring that in. You want to bring that in, and you rub it in that you made him a castle.
Sure.
All right.
So that's 4 modifier. Then I'll throw in 3 persona, because I really would like to not fail this.
Trinkets and baubles.
Actually, I don't have that much persona. I'm just gonna go with 2.
Packs heavy with loot. Yeah.
Base ob 7. This is a really tough roll.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Holy crap!
Those 3 dice.
Holy crap, there, my dude. That's a really hard roll.
That's called the Swan fist bump right there.
Nice, good job.
That is super duper solid,
dude. Well done. Yeah. So what is it? So what is the piece of the puzzle that makes him finally give way? You win, and you won with a flourish. So I feel like I'm asking you that question instead of me telling you.
Yeah. So I think what it is I think just go off of that failure consequence that we were going with. Like, he's giving me all this bluster about how all I can do is talk. Like, you're all talk, you've got nothing. And then we notice Aurelius is listening, but he's fiddling with something. It seemed like he was holding a staff, but then we notice as he's stringing it that it was his great bow, which we haven't seen him hold since we got to the city. And sort of while I can't remember his first name, something Solstend, he's giving me all this, you're all talk. There's maybe sort of a target way off in the distance. And as he's talking, Aurelius just feathers an arrow into the target and says, I will be with you, whether we must ride out from the walls, whether we stand on top of them. My bow shall be in my hand. Abadar does not shy from this fight. Neither should Gorham.
Yeah, that's perfect. And yeah, I think that's the point. Is like very well. And then okay, scene's done. Let's keep going.
Cool.
All right,
Fucking
you
rad.
secured the guy. Yeah, thank you. That's way better than a duel of wits. I'm glad I realized that.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Okay, cool. Next up, we got a couple months. So did you want to knock out the writing? The was it writing composition?
Yeah,
is it composition,
so
not writing?
It's composition. Writing is the physical act of writing. Composition is like drafting edicts. Now this is entirely on you because I circled up Gavril like a while back.
Yeah.
He literally just needs to make 4 instructor rolls. I can check the ob for you, but it's
Is it your will?
So
I'm trying to think
way
of how instructor works in Mouse Guard and shit.
the way it works is so the time it takes is a number of days equal to 10 minus the instructor's will plus 10 minus the person being taught's will. So my will is 5. I'm guessing he has 4 or 5. And then
4.
So 4. So it'll take 44 days for all of these tests to happen, and it shouldn't be quite as hard as it was for Mason to learn magic because it's not magic. So let me just check some obs really quick.
What you
I think-
may or may not
you-
want to do here
Sure.
is go on. You first.
Just a side note, how would you guys feel about this? I just thought of it. If you want to circle somebody with I want someone with like a B5 in persuasion, right? Then that would be like and then describe them as being like a master orator or whatever. And then that I would set an obstacle to that. And then could we actually do it perhaps like a graduated test? So if you got more than that, you would actually get someone who's even better. Like every 2 successes would be like an ob 6 or a B6 persuasion instead of the B5 you asked for. Like
How you choose to audit that is on you as the GM, right? If you want to be like, yeah, you can spend that margin of success to get this extra thing.
Yeah.
But like in the rules, the way we go about saying I would like a super persuader or a super orator, right? Is to be like, okay, is that fitting for the life path that you have selected, right? Is that the guy you like?
Sure.
You ask for an herbalist,
Yeah.
like he's not really good at orating, but then you can add the rare knowledge or disposition modifier to be like, yeah, but he's also that thing.
Yeah,
So-
like basically what I'm saying is I'd be willing for you to ask me to command that a person has a certain level of skill with a certain skill when you're circling somebody, because if you want an herbalist, it's like, but I also need someone who's like rare plants wise. You know what I mean? Like, at least, or like secret plants wise, and like, so
I would like an
at least a
herbalist.
3, right? Not just saying herbalist.
I would like an herbalist, but also an herbalist who can teach me to be an herbalist.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I mean, but yeah, and that was my specific circle.
Yeah, so this guy was 4 anyways, but anyways. Okay.
So going over the rules for instruction,
So it's
he can only
6.
teach. I just need routine test from him. No, it's not ob 6.
I thought it was 10 minus will.
No, that's how long it takes.
Oh.
So
in terms of number of weeks?
No, days. So it'll take 11 days per test.
Yeah, that's
so
not
that's
bad
why
at all.
it takes me 44 days, which is a month and a half.
Yep. Okay. And these are just routine?
Yeah, I need a routine test, so that starts at ob 1, and then it's a +1 ob for artist or school of thought. So it's just an ob 2.
Yeah.
But he needs to make it 4 times. So
Yeah.
If he hasn't opened, if not, then it doubles the op.
Well, I asked for somebody. My circles rule specified someone who could.
Wow, look at that roll. 3 6s.
Sweet.
All right. So that's 1 routine test. 2 routine tests.
You're lucky this isn't the duel of wits, man.
Seriously.
Packing heat here. Oh boy.
3. Ooh, that's close.
He's rolling 6 dice versus ob 2.
Oh, that's pretty easy. Awesome.
He's rhetoric wise and not rule of law. What's the other one? Etiquette. Just etiquette and etiquette wise. For writing letters.
So that's 4 tests. So that means that I open a composition of B3.
So he's
over
like
the last few months.
So he's like, no. You want to write with the Girardi opening, which is like sort of like this more like flourished like opening paragraph, and then going into these other things. Like he literally knows the names of the almost like chess strategies in terms of like phrasing and constructing arguments.
I'm imagining like the biggest struggle for Aurelius is like he's like, no, but because he's an orator, right? Like that's his his orating and his suasion. So he's like trying to structure things the way he would structure it if he was just like speaking. And like Gavril's being like, no, that's not coming across. Like I'm reading this and it doesn't sound like you're saying that. Like you don't have a voice inflection here. You don't have X, Y, and Z to lean on. You need to make this more clear. You need to fix this. So it's like, you know, actually learning the differences between convincing men's minds with your words versus with your, you know, writing.
When you speak with your heart, but when you write with your blood.
Ooh.
I can't help but
subtle difference. No,
I can't help but imagine a clip of Aurelius sitting in a wagon with this guy, and then like trying like, what did you come up with? And Aurelius like raises up a piece of parchment, is like, to whom it may concern, and just gets caned over the stupid
wrong.
How you do?
Yeah, and he's like throwing in like pieces of scripture, and he's like, well, obviously everyone would know that this is a direct quote from the 7th book of Ammon. And he's like, no, no one knows that. No one knows that. Get rid of that.
Gavril's like, there's an X-wing beneath this lake.
Yeah,
Lift it out.
Exactly.
And, okay, cool. All right, thank you.
Cool. So
all right,
that
so
was
you're
the
caught
stuff
up
I
to
needed
speed.
to do.
Yeah, you're caught up to speed, and now we're all together. So now I think we have to do some stuff with AP because I feel like we cut short last session about the time AP was getting ready to go introduce stuff to Margot, right?
You circled up a person.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
you want to jump to that, or what do you want to do?
This person he circled up, did she arrive at Karasuno, or did he simply figure out, oh, I need to speak to this person to get that thing I wanted, but she is in Mivon? Like, what's the situation?
I thought the situation was that she, you sent out letters to like talk to these people, right? Like, hey, like send an envoy, and like waiting for you was a small fleet, a welcoming fleet from Mivon, led by Margot.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I like that.
They are obviously.
Wait, what? Question.
Mm-hmm.
I think, if I remember correctly, AP wanted to circle up a magnate, right?
Yes, somebody who can get them into the affairs of state around.
Okay.
And Margot is a privateer, I think is the best way of putting it.
All right. That was actually my question, right? Like, why is the magnate leading the fleet, right? But you just answered, so.
The river kingdoms are almost all done by necessarily people river and trade. So her fleet sometimes it's like Stars Without Number in fantasy. It's like
she's a government.
It's half a gunship, half a cargo ship, half a pirate, half a privateer, half an official mercenary vessel. She carries a lot of flags. All right.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this might have been an enmity clause situation.
It is.
Okay.
Yep.
So we are like just in the water.
Is any of your council with you, AP?
Yeah, so I think it's one of those things where the ships pull up side by side, right? And like, they have the planks go across and she steps on board, right? Oh.
It's dangerous to have Mason around, but it's usually pretty safe to have Aurelius around.
The real question is whether this happened if this is happening after my month and a half, because for a month and a half, I cannot do anything else other than learn composition.
I mean, the real question is, did this happen as we were traveling south, or did this happen while Swan was journeying to meet them about this? Because if Swan is just going out there to talk diplomacy, then we're not there. But if we're on the way down to Karasuno, we are there by default.
Right.
Whether I invite you to the meeting or not is a completely different question.
The meeting that has happened in the open air of the deck.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to just go ahead and break this tie for Aurelius, at least. I think Aurelius sees us go up next to the ship and is like, wait, what's going on? And Gavril just smacks him with the cane and is like, no, focus.
So
then I shall decide to have Mason present on deck.
Oh, I'm glad you decided, because I was about to invite you.
Thank you. I feel invited.
I will signal to allow Mason to come over, as is my dignity.
Hmm?
Come, let's do this.
What's the issue?
I don't know what the issue is yet. I'm sure we'll find out.
I nod.
Captain Margot, I presume.
Captain Swan, I presume.
That's Admiral Swan.
The first face palm happens very subtly. Just
I assume you have the goods to back it up. That's what she says, looking at your Nina Pinta in Santa Maria.
There are over 20 ships in construction back at the capital.
It's been a long time since Brevoy has set up a shop down here.
Well, it'll be a long time before Brevoy sets up a shop down here. I am not Brevoy, I'm afraid.
Oh. What are you? We're
setting up a new holy land for the Abadarian people.
Missionaries. Oh, that's too bad. You see some friends back home, we had a bet on whether or not how long you would last. And I was going to say that you're going to end up by the winter, but missionaries, I don't think you'll make it even till fall.
I'm just like gesturing
Too
to
bad.
the giant pile of supplies we have here.
Mason is like hiding a smirk because this brand of humor suits her.
Yeah.
Captain Margot. Can I just call you Margot?
Captain Margot is fine.
Very well, Captain Margot. Walk with me, Captain Margot.
Around
I'll
the
gesture. I'm gesturing to the front end of the ship. I want to do, not a Titanic scene, but up at the front to look out over the lands. Because if we're traveling towards the land, we should be able to look out upon the land.
I've been sailing these seas since you were in diapers. I don't need to look around.
How old is she?
She's a little older than you.
I
She thinks you're younger, probably.
She
I mean,
is probably a son of a gun.
Yeah.
He's 31, so she'd have to be...
She's like 40. Like 39.
I guess it's technically... if she got started really early. Sure.
Yo, dude,
might
they're
be a
like
son of a gun.
they're like born on boats. Yeah, dude, she definitely has son of a gun.
Captain, can I ask what your business here with us is?
I don't know. I got a letter said you were looking for someone who could get you into Mivanese parties and galas and whatnot.
Indeed.
You have a very pretty sword.
Thank you.
That's important in Mivanese culture. It's
I
also
know,
important that you know how to use it.
I have been admiring the Mivanese sword style for some time, after having seen several usages of the brevish martial talent. I've been rather unimpressed as of late. I have several things that might interest Mivan, and several more things that might interest you.
I hope they
and I'm
include...
looking to make sure that my fleets can pass through this area. Trade can only benefit your people.
She's like, huh. She's not actually the person you need to talk to about this, but she's kind of like hearing your case, and she's kind of like your lawyer or like your cultural attaché.
Yep.
So like when you're saying that and stuff, it's like, okay. That might be a tough sell. Mevin's a little bit busy right now.
If there's one thing I know about markets, it's that more trade is a very easy sell.
Would you be able to get us access to someone who could make such a judgment?
It's possible, but the seas are treacherous this times of years. I would have to make special accommodations. I would have to... Well, let's just say that there's a lot of rocks beneath the water that have to be navigated.
Might my good lord here be able to alleviate your worries and compensate you for all these troubles that you should have to go through to arrange this in some manner or fashion?
It's interesting you bring up special accommodations. I understand that you're not technically a noble yet, and I happen to have quite a bit of land near Mivan, but still in the area that we have set aside for this particular expedition. I'm not saying you could stay there on a daily basis, but certainly I could set it aside for you. A nice house, something near the water. Maybe build a dock.
She spits right in front of your feet and says, I have no need of a tomb yet.
It's one thing to have a house. It's another to have it make money for you.
I put my hand on Swan's
do
shoulder.
very fine on the water.
I want to put my hand on Swan's shoulder.
Freedom than licking your feet.
I prefer freedom as well.
I'm gonna
freedom,
interject here.
Freedom for you, but servitude for all the rest. I see.
I'm gonna interject here. I'm gonna like physically like signal Swan that I'm gonna cut in here, and I'm saying maybe then what we should be talking about is what you want, not what we might think to offer you.
Okay. Yeah. So,
look at all. I want to interject on that interjection.
Quick faux pas. So, like, you committed a faux pas, but just know this is totally recoverable. But that the Mivanese are very, very adamant about their freedom. These are the people who would not even give up against the Coral Conqueror. They have a very strong independent streak to them.
Eric, I have the free trait. Okay.
Yeah,
I know, but they have the freer trait.
I wanna tag
like theirs is a fucking call-on trait. Like they do not. This is a huge thing about them. They do not serve anyone. Anyways.
I'm tagging in after Mason and saying, you believe that somehow I have forced everyone around me to serve me because something, but here I even let my general cut in the middle of a conversation when not asked for, and I haven't had her killed yet. Despite months, almost a year of this.
It's true, he hasn't. I'm still not dead.
Just because you prod your slaves in front of me without chains doesn't mean them any less a slave to a Mivanese
I just start laughing. I start just unstoppable laughing.
You might... I mean, you don't stand to profit anything by making assumptions about my role in all of this. Really, my good lord here has the capacity to offer you oh so very many things, and none of them need to be anything you don't want them to be. Maybe instead of all this speculation about ideals and values and freedom, we really should just be focusing on what you want. To facilitate a meeting with a person who could arrange for the flotilla to pass by unmolested.
I will tell you that if I feel convinced with whose bed I'm getting into. Why do you serve this man?
This guy?
Still laughing in the corner.
His ambition... Okay, so yeah, Mason like squints at her and he's like, there are so very many things that are not yours to know, such as there are so very many things that is not this guy to know. But suffice it to say, I will tell you what I've been telling him all this time. I find his ambition fascinating. If I wanted to leave, I would.
If I wanted to follow someone ambitious, why wouldn't I just follow Lady Aravetti?
No one is asking you to follow anyone. All we ask is you set up a meeting. And we offer to reward you handsomely for doing so.
Have you met the Lady Aravetti?
I want to hop
Lady
in here.
Aravetti is a nice friend. Is a good friend, good personal friend of mine.
I want to hop in here. I was under the impression that the Mivanese and the Pitaxians were constantly attempting to overthrow each other.
Yeah, they are.
So it's really weird for the preeminent naval commander to be like, I would just go work for the Pitaxians.
AP, don't you know that in Japanese, the kanji for enemy is the same as the kanji for good friend? Right? It's like this the Sengoku Jidai thing. The people you are in wars with, you come to have a bond with.
Yes. And like there is a there's a very firm like disdain. Basically Pitax and Mivon are kind of, you're trying to like be another Pitax to these guys is what they're saying. And so it's like, why wouldn't we already have a Pitax? Why would we follow you? It's kind of right now what they're thinking, right? Like we already have a sworn enemy that's like this. What's going on? Okay, but so you like to say, yeah, so you follow for ambition. It's like, okay, great, just like any other Pitaxian. Okay.
The Lady Aravetti follows me. As you can see from these ships, her black fingers are in my employ. I am not here to start a eternal feud with my friendly neighbors to the south, the Mivanese. I come bearing gifts. Trade is one such gift. Forgiveness is another. Hiring of your mercenaries is yet a third. You have goods, you have people, you have food. I have money.
She's nodding approvingly, like very well, very well. But
we haven't
I
convinced her
cannot
with the
promise.
dice roll.
I can't promise you anything.
Have you considered what's that thing called now? The kids called it something else, but not kickbacks. Is there some hearty bribe I can offer you to convince you of my sincerity in this matter? Some pile of treasure that you might want? Perhaps you'd like to add a new naval ship to your defense.
That could go a long way. I could certainly smooth things over, perhaps hide those rocks that are so treacherous to navigate in Mivanese water.
Delightful.
Yes, I do prefer it when the things that I buy arrive on time without anything falling off the side of the ship.
So is she agreeing to facilitate a meeting for us?
Yeah, but let's make a persuade. I think you need to make a persuade roll here, because the consequences of failure is that she's going to try to test you.
Okay.
And see what happens.
AP, I think you're leading.
I think so too.
The consequence of failure to this is literally that I'm going to make a new clock about she's going to threaten you guys with see what happens. See how she wants to test your conviction.
Sweet.
Yeah. If you really want to get to Curacao, run our navy. Let's see if you can get there.
Yeah.
Really? Just full on Gormite, apparently.
I'm gonna throw in a helping die for you.
The river,
I think I'm
the River
throwing in
Kingdoms
with persuasion.
The River Kingdoms, by like D&D standards, are like literally chaotic neutral. They believe that if you can't defend what you have, you don't deserve it.
Yeah.
So
also by Golarian standards, the mayor of Milvan is chaotic evil.
Yeah. So. Okay. Yeah, like you're getting into bed with some serious people.
The chaotically evil French.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. So,
that's okay. I intend to kill most of them in my rise to power. So.
I feel like I'm throwing in a helping die of persuasion.
Okay. I would like to fork etiquette. Supplier-wise. Merchant-wise. And because the conversation mostly revolved around it, logistics.
Yeah, but isn't this also is bribery a skill?
No,
I mean,
but
that's just technically
wise.
haggling. Yeah.
Yeah, haggling. Haggling is a thing.
This isn't really haggling. Actually, it kind of ultimately is a haggling test.
We're not really haggling over price. We're asking her to name hers to get us into a room with someone who can make.
Oh
a
yeah,
decision.
fair. Well, then she did name her ship. Well, she named her price, and it's a ship. It's another warship.
I mean, it's not haggling if I offer her a thing and she immediately accepts that thing.
I mean, can I make a suggestion that it's just an advantage die? It's like, hey, I'm not just trying to persuade you for nothing. Here's my gesture of goodwill. I'm going to buy you a very expensive boat.
Sure. So you get an additional die, and then it's also an additional 2 ob because she's an enemy.
Yep.
So, let's say it's a nice chill ob. Let's see. I don't know. Her will should probably be 4, so it's 6.
5.
Shouldn't be that difficult for you.
6. Oh
yeah.
Boy. I almost want to be a shitlord and go for the difficult test.
That's what I would do.
But I want these ships to arrive. All right, I'm gonna take it. I'll take all the helping die. I'll take so it's 5 aiding dice with the forks. And 6.
There it is.
Just got it.
Beautiful.
Nice.
I'll
Well
fade
done.
it.
This advances my persuasion to 4.
Nice.
Well, that's 2 more successes. Rather than go for the flourish, I think after you roll, you can spend successes to accomplish something quickly. Yes.
There is the argument that you could
Yes,
you can
then
argue
as
with
I-
it quickly.
I can get my meeting with whoever it is down the line 20% faster would be what I would like to get.
Okay.
That people note that Count Swan is capable of getting things done very quickly.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, cool. So like, it's not. So I'm not exactly sure the time frame of how long it's going to take, but the fact that it will be done fictionally in our circumstances quickly, and it's noted by people that you are a doer is absolutely done and on the
All
table
right.
there.
I want to be
It
clear
doesn't-
that
System mastery, though.
the ship that I am giving to her is the Demetrius Antonin Lucian Arsini Sertova is the warship that I am giving to her.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
not going to keep that name, but that's fine.
That's
So,
fine. If they
we
rename the
know,
ship, it's bad luck. So
We know the time frame of this happening is within the 2 months that it takes us to travel from New Stedman to Karasuno, right?
Yeah.
So should we just like immediately Batman wipe to us talking to whoever we need to talk to get permission to sail the flotilla through?
Perhaps, but I think I want to do some scenes with you. But we also need to go to our first break. So we'll probably pick up with you, Mason, and then go back over to Mivan.
All right.
All right. Cool. So we'll see you guys on the other side. See you guys in about 5 minutes or so. So take care. Get a glass of water. Do some stretches. Whatever you got to do. Get a snack, and we'll see you in a little bit.
Just